How can you manage to have Tee Higgins on your team and feel any sort of way about it? Like, Tee Higgins only has a 38.5% catch rate on the season. 38.5%. Oh man, this is so bad. We need to see Tee Higgins consistently produce. We need to see Joe Burrow healthy, because that's what's costing Tee Higgins right now. Tee Higgins, 55 receiving grade. He had a big game against Baltimore. Baltimore's beaten up though. But against LA last week, 2 for 21, no touchdowns, 8 targets yet again. This is the same thing that we saw in week number 1 when Tee Higgins had 0 catches on 7 targets. It's disastrous. It can absolutely crater. It's one of the reasons why I was a little worried about Tee Higgins. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, but Bradley, Joe Burrow did look a little bit better last week. Yeah, and still, Tee Higgins did not play very well. The average depth of target over the last 2 games for Tee Higgins is much, much lower, only 10.3 and 10.8. Whereas we saw in week number 1, Joe Burrow trying to push the ball really deep down the field to Tee Higgins, and nothing connected. So he changed that up, switched it up, and it's still not working in week number 3. So maybe there are some more adjustments that are happening in week number 4. But for right now, we need to see Joe Burrow get healthy, because Burrow is not healthy. It's clear that he's not able to push the ball down the field. He has the 3rd worst NFL passer rating among quarterbacks with attempting passes of 20 yards or more. So this is a player who's really struggled to throw the ball deep. We'll see if Tee Higgins can have a bounce back week 4, but it's not something that I'm banking on. And he is a sit consideration if you are looking for someone else. I mean, Titans are also a very difficult matchup. Sean Murphy Bunting has allowed 1 performance, 1 game of receiving. He's allowed 40 yards or more in only 1 of the last 12 games. So this is, and he's projected to line up mostly against Tee Higgins in this week 4 matchup. The game environment's not right. The over-under is about 41.5. Depends on where you're looking at the sports books. But for right now, Tee Higgins is a sit consideration. A tough matchup given the bad game conditions, given his inconsistent play, given that we don't know if Joe Burrow is back to being healthy yet. So Tee Higgins, there's a lot of reasons for us to be uncertain about him. Certainly we may not have a better play, and you may be forced to put Tee Higgins in your lineup. So be it. And anytime that a player is getting 7, 8, 10, 11 targets, like, they could have a boom week. But when we're looking at the ranges of outcomes for Tee Higgins, the bust is a lot larger right now. So consider Tee Higgins as a low-end wide receiver 3 that you can sit for other flex plays.